Welcome to the Getting Personal podcast with Ankin Law. I'm Kelly Pickard, and I am here with
Elizabeth Salgado.
So Liz, why don't you tell us what your role is here at Ankin?
I am reception manager.
Reception. So we actually started together the same week, I think a day apart maybe, and I had since moved on, and she has become the reception manager, which is a very interesting job in itself. So what does your typical job entail?
Honestly, the fun part of it is that it's very unpredictable. Of course, my main role is to make sure that reception is running smoothly, and that's making sure that the phones are covered, that our mail is being processed and delivered in the timely manner, and just everything in between. I am like the problem solver. I try to, people come to me, they have a problem, I really try to help them find a solution. Yeah, and it starts in reception.
Yeah, exactly. So I know that when you started, you might have maybe wanted to move up somewhere else. Was reception kind of somewhere where you just felt comfortable, where you wanted to stay? I know that when you moved up to be reception manager, it was obviously different roles and different responsibilities. So how is it with having people who you kind of have to, I guess, manage and work with?
So when I first even applied or was just job hunting, I knew certain things that I wanted in the jobs that I was going to work at, and it was never like I need to get to a promotion or this and that. It was our boxes being checked of certain things that are important to me, and they were. And that's just, for me, that's the focus. If being promoted or being changed to a position comes in play, then great, but that's not how I came in on it. I had certain boxes that I needed to check, and it is just Ian and Jody checked every box, and that's how I entered into the position. Not really any expectations other than that. Having a good job with great environment, good work, good ethics. I'm gonna be spending most of my time with certain people, sometimes more than my son and my family. I needed to make sure that was worth it. So for me, that was the focus.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, we spend 8 hours a day with each other. You help me with stuff that I probably couldn't do, myself, with mail, everything. It's definitely a great role to be in, that we have. So what was the hiring process for you? I know we had different hiring experiences, so what was that like for you?
Honestly, for me, it was very simple. I think I just applied online. I think it was through a staffing agency. Jody contacted me. We set up a Zoom interview. Shortly after that, we set up an in-person interview. And I met with Jody and Ian. And again, it was, in my opinion, it was a great interview. All the important questions that I had were answered. I would like to think that they also got their questions answered. A few days after that, I got a job offer, and the rest is history.
Yeah, it's a different hiring process for everybody, but kind of like the same thing. Like you said, Jody, kind of they walk you through everything, and they try and make sure that you know that this is the fit for you, and they want to make sure that
for both. Absolutely. I think they make sure that because it's not just for them hiring the right person. It's for me wanting to work for the right person because of the type of worker that I am. I'm very dedicated, and I want to make sure it has to work for both.
Yeah, exactly. So why did you choose Ankin Law? What drew you to coming here?
Again, there was a few things that I was looking for. My perspective changed in life when I had my son. So that made me change the way I approached everything, and that was including my employment, where I wanted to make sure, again, I had a few things that I wanted to look for an environment. It was great people to work with, a company ethics, and just security, a sense of security, and just also a place for growth, a room for growth, to grow. Somewhere where I knew that if I put enough work and I did what I had to do, there's room for me to move up. And more importantly, I wanted somewhere where it was home. That this is where I'm going to stay. I want to retire from here. This is where I want to bring my son, and this is going to be part of my family. And that was the approach that I used searching for a job, and then that's the decision. Those are the factors that I took into consideration when making my decision and choosing Ankin, because the same way they chose me, I chose them too.
Yeah, and you talk about, your son and your family, what does this mean to them that you're kind of, in this role, in this position, kind of like breaking barriers?
Oh, I love it. For me, and that is absolutely true because I remember, and this is one of the things that stood out to me in our interview, having conversations with Ian. I remember my parents taking me to their workplace, and it was a factory with really bad conditions at times. I remember they would go on strike all the time, but there was this sense of pride and me walking through the factories and then talking about their friends, and it was very humbling job, very hard working job. And now, many years later, I bring my son, and it's completely different now. He is gonna be impacted, but on another level. He's walking amongst attorneys, and for me, these are my celebrities. This is a job that you going out there to defend people that have no way to defend themselves. That's, for me, it's the highest level of respect. So now I get to walk him down those hallways, and hopefully that'll guide him and want him to be part of that environment. And it's just such a contrast of, now he gets to see that. And it's, I don't know, it just makes me very happy and very proud that my parents, all the sacrifice and hard work and suffering that they went through, now I don't have to do that. Now my son is like, he comes in, he walks around, and it's great to have that feeling, yeah.
Yeah, and he's adorable. Every time he comes in, it always makes me smile, especially when you have hard days.
Yeah.
So you're bilingual, and you've assisted me with helping with some of my Spanish-speaking clients, and I'm sure you've assisted other people with their Spanish-speaking clients, or just kind of helping them. How is it helping them kind of navigate their legal career? Not even with like clients that I have, but just anybody that calls the office, anybody that has any questions, or people call and they're afraid. Yeah. Or they don't know what's the next step. So what is it to kind of help that new, like that, not generation, but that new
that
group of people?
Honestly, for me, that's one of the best parts of my job. One of the most fulfilling parts is knowing that we have hundreds and hundreds of cases, but sometimes when somebody calls, like we're their one lifeline. They're dialing the number, they don't know who's gonna answer on the other end. And you add to the fact that they might not even speak their language. I can just I don't have to imagine how that looks like because I've had my mom, my dad, family members on that side. So I know that when they pick up and they say hola or they say Spanish, and the answer is, oh, ¿en qué le puedo ayudar? How may I help you? I could tell that's a relief. So that's so satisfying to me, knowing that, hey, at the end of the day, you're gonna have somebody that's gonna listen to you, that's gonna understand you, and that will do everything in their power to be able to either connect you to the legal team or answer a question, whatever the situation is. That is very powerful because I know what it's like to be on that other side and not having that. We were the 6, 7-year-olds that would translate for our parents, and now knowing that, especially in the type of service that we provide, it's so important to be able to communicate with the clients no matter what. And that's very fulfilling to me, knowing that I will understand. I will make sure. I might not be able to answer every question, but I'll make sure to get you to the right person. So yeah.
No, it's great. I mean, especially even helping me or helping,
And I learned so much about workers' comp. You see, sometimes I'll be able to answer some of the questions, which I'm so happy to be able to help you guys. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. I won't even have to say anything. You IM me and you let me know I have somebody who, this person on the line and this is the question that they have, and I can just easily send you, what's going on with their case, and you just kind of, assist in any possible way that you can. So it's a great thing that we have. She's one of the great people that we have working in reception. Obviously, you have, how many team members do you have?
Right now we have 5. We have a really great, solid team. We have Joanna, who works from home, and we have Isabel, who's part-time. We have Destiny, we have Jessica, we have Sylvia, and then we have our intern, Rachel. So we have a great team. They're hard workers, and we really do care about our job. You have to care. We deal with hundreds and hundreds of cases that are, I look at it this way when it comes to reception. We might just be the screeners, we screen your calls, but we know that at the end of that phone line, they're going through something. If there's a matter and let it fly under their name, they're going through something. And we have decided that there's been an injustice and we're gonna try to make it better. So we take every single call as like, hey, we don't dismiss it, we don't take it lightly. Yes, we've had some people that are so frustrated, and sometimes it is hard not for you to feel that out, but then at the end of the day, we're like, no, they're going through something, and we're their lifeline, and we have to remember that we have to treat it with empathy. And I'm very proud of my girls because they do that, and we do our best to make sure that every call is transferred correctly, every call is answered, because more than anything, our clients want to be heard and they don't want to be ignored. And I think that reception does a great job in making sure that they are heard as best as we can.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, you have a big role of connecting those people with, whether it's someone from intake to start a case, or it's, their legal team. And, even if they have issues, making sure that they're heard in a different way that, we might not be able to kind of assist with, off the bat. I mean, you're the one that's connecting them with somebody who can assist them with getting their case, heard and, applied for.
We give them peace. We try to give them peace because sometimes they'll be like, oh my God, they're like a provider's calling me, or they're asking me questions, I don't know. And it's a valid, we might know, like, it's fine, but they don't know, they don't understand. So it's nice when they're like, okay, somebody, I'm heard. Now my legal team knows, and then you guys are like, I got this. Now let me take care of it, and let's do our job. So it's definitely a teamwork. But we're very lucky. Enkin cares, every single person cares. We all work well together, and we truly, truly care about our clients and our coworkers, because they're just as important.
Yeah, so I know you mentioned a couple things about what makes your job fulfilling. What other aspects of your job, fulfills you, or that helps, that fulfills that you help fulfill your team?
For me, just knowing at the end of the day, knowing that my presence, my interaction with anybody will hopefully always be a positive. Whether I'm able to get a box of paper clips for Scott, or making sure that Maria gets the mail as soon as she gets it. Like, for me, that's any interaction, I want it to be a positive one. There's too much negativity in this world. So if me being, hey, have a good day, like just good positive energy and just being able to help in any way that I can, it makes me feel good, because I know at least in that instance, I made that person like, okay, that's one less thing I have to worry about. So that for me, that's very fulfilling, being able to assist, being able to help, being able to answer a question. Whether I know the answer or not, I will try to get you that answer. So yeah, that's for me, that's all of it, just being in any way, in any level, helpful for the people that I'm surrounded by and I interact with.
Yeah, you also help with supplies. So like you said, getting paper clips for somebody,
That's
or
right.
legal pads, or,
Yeah.
ordering something if someone, an attorney needs something. I mean, that's a big...
Binder clips are essential. So ask an attorney if they can find a stapler. Like, it's important, these little things. They're important to me, and maybe for somebody else it's not, but try finding, like, needing scissors, and you're like, it'll ruin your day, or it'll ruin your moment, it'll stress you out, just not finding something as simple, and me knowing that, like, hey, that you don't have to worry about. That's why I'm here. You come to me, I will get you what you need. You please focus on helping your clients and more important things. Let me worry about the little things, because I know that's how I help them, and that is very fulfilling to me.
I know I've come to you for binder clips many times than I can probably
it's part
count.
of it, like from the very small things to making sure that something, a demand gets to the whoever the situation is, every little step matters. That's why from reception, like you said, from intake to reception to legal assistants to attorneys to management to accounting, every single person, and we all respect and have worked together, I love working here. I really do. I love my job at Enkin. I've worked in many places, and this by far has been one of the best places. In part because of management and my coworkers. It's worth it for me to spend the amount of time I spend here. It's very fulfilling, and I can't wait to keep bringing Noah here and keep showing him how much we're growing and getting him to know the attorneys, and him maybe I want him to be an attorney, putting the little bug so he can see. But that's my own personal, my personal ambition, but I'm very grateful and thankful for Enkin, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've been here almost 2 years in March, and it's just, there's something new that you're learning every day. You don't know everything. So I guess that's something that's also, you learn. And
every case is different, every person is different, and that's the fun part of it. Like, you can't plan out your day. It's so unpredictable, but that's also, it makes it very enjoyable. Yeah.
I was just going to kind of go into it, a typical day, you come in, you answer calls, you kind of, go into it. Are you always, I know every time I go there sometimes, you're never there, or you're always running around, so is that kind of what you do, run around, try and assist anything that you
Problem
can?
solve, yeah. I walk in, it's somebody needs this, I need that, making sure that the mail is done, what wasn't done from the day before. And we're, especially now in this season where our calls have increased a lot, because think about it, the conditions outside are worse, so unfortunately people are finding themselves in need of legal representation, and reception is essential. We need to make sure those calls are being answered, because that person, when they're calling, it's because they need us now, so we need to make sure that we're answering. So yeah.
You've helped many Spanish-speaking clients. As somebody who has immigrant parents, how has working here impacted you?
Oh, thank you so much, first of all, for that question. That is a very, very important part of my life, and my history is who my parents are and where they came from. They migrated from Mexico in the 70s. They worked their butts off. They became U.S. citizens, and nothing was ever handed to them. Nothing was very easy. Our work ethic was drilled into us because we understood how working hard really opened doors. That and education. My mom didn't learn how to read and she taught herself how to read and write. She didn't know how to read and write when she came into this country, and she just wasn't able to, because in Mexico you have to have money in order for you to get an education. She was the oldest of 12 siblings, and there was just no way that my grandparents, regardless of the reason, were able to do that. So she made the decision to, in my opinion, very scary, the most important decision of her life, to come to this country. And I am so grateful and thankful for that sacrifice, because I know she went through a lot of suffering, her and my father, a lot of pain, a lot of crying, a lot of fear, everything that you can imagine coming into a country where you don't know how to read and write, but you don't know the language, and yet they were able to start a family, buy a home, become U.S. citizens, and give us this work ethic and these morals, and more importantly, especially with the way the world is now, this security, that all their sacrifices has put me in the position that I am now, where I have an amazing job that I absolutely love, and that I absolutely feel safe, and then I do feel that I am contributing in a positive way, and in a world where sometimes it feels like it could consume you. And even more important for me is that now that's what Noah, my son, is gonna just witness, like positivity and hard work and professionals around me and around him, and he will never, hopefully he will never fear for being where his parents were born from. Like, he will never have to feel that fear of not knowing a language, or not, like, being in another country, not knowing if you're gonna have something to eat, or I remember my mom would tell me stories of when they first came into this country, where she came with her brothers. They would, because she was the only female in the group, and they would have to stay with strangers because the situations, they would not sleep for the whole night, sitting up to make sure that my mom would sleep safely. So those things, as she tells me with the tears in her eyes, that makes me feel very proud of everything that she went through, and very, very grateful. And more when I see Noah, and I'm like, he's never gonna have to see that. He is never gonna hear me say those stories to him, because of everything that my parents went through. So yes, me being able to be in a position where I can help somebody that was my parents means everything to me. And I do think that Ankin is a place where we're helping, where we are making a difference, I remember the client that we had, where one of his biggest concerns was that, and unfortunately we had so many of these cases where they have been detained and they had a legitimate case, but now you throw an immigration case into it, or you had a situation where they're scared. Are they going to be able to get treated? Are they going to be able to have surgery? Or it adds an already stressful situation, even more stress, and on top of that, fear, so much fear. And I don't take that lightly. So I will do everything in my power to make sure that, I would come to you, hey, listen, we need to make sure that we try to get these surgeries as approved, and we want to make sure, because he has an immigration court in this date, and with everything that's going on, there's a lot of fear, and it's very valid. So knowing, and I think they also feel it when they hear it in somebody's voice, that they really truly care. Like, I understand what you're feeling. Aside from the fact that you're going through an injustice or you got hurt or whatever, I know that fear, because my whole community was feeling that fear. My parents were there. So that's one of the other very fulfilling parts of my job. That because I know where I come from, like, I get to make a difference now. And that's because of the sacrifices that my mom and my dad made, and so many people have made.
Yeah, you've even brought it up before, how, when they call, they're scared, they don't know, but then, they get, you on the line that can kind of assist with making sure that, they're being heard, or, at least clients know that, we care, and, we're trying our hardest, we will always try our hardest, always do our best, we might not have the answer today when you call, but, we'll have the answer in the next couple of days, or, potentially, the next couple of weeks, but, we are trying, we are working, and, having that, having you to kind of assist with that, kind of calm their nerves, especially if they call and their legal team isn't available, and it might be, like you said, it could be frustrating, it could be they're scared, or they're not understanding the process, even just being there to kind of soften that blow a little bit and just be like, they are working on it, that you are being heard, we are trying, they are working on it, you will have a response, you will have a call back, that is something that is definitely
peace. They want peace. They want to be, more than anything, they want to be heard. And when they know that, a lot of the times they're not wanting their problem solved right then and there. They just want to know that, hey, you understood me, you heard me, and I wasn't ignored. And that's all. And sometimes, it makes all the difference. It makes all the difference. But again, I'm very thankful that Ankin also allows me to be able to do that.